Hi, my name is Catherine Batchelor, and I'm an assistant professor of literacy here in the Department of Teacher Education. I've been here at Miami for about 6 months now, and I've loved every second of it. Prior to coming here, I was a middle school teacher for 10 years, spending 4 years in California and 6 years teaching in Florida. I absolutely love to teach. It's one of my passions, and I remember wanting to be a teacher ever since I was a child. Some of my fondest childhood memories are playing school with my younger brothers. When my parents would put us to bed at night, I would sneak into their bedroom and I would come equipped with all sorts of picture books and chapter books, and I would bring in this Fisher-Price School Days desk that was a chalkboard mixed with alphabet letters and magnets. I would sit at the foot of their bed and I would engage in, read alouds. I would have them respond through drawing. I even gave them journals and we would practice writer's workshop. And so, of course, I had no idea as a 10-year-old what these practices were called, but that's how I experienced my teaching. So I attribute that to the fact that I had amazing teachers who were great role models. One of the goals that I have for my current students who are pre-service teachers is to become role models, excellent role models for their future students. I want them to be questioners, readers, writers, lifelong thinkers, and most importantly, reflective practitioners who study the craft of teaching. One of my academic idols, Elliot Eisner, refers to teaching as an art, and I wholeheartedly agree. I think that when you connect theory to practice, that engages that craft and art of teaching. Because it's a theory-based course, I do want them to connect theory to practice, but to me, it's not enough for students to comprehend the theory and understand its underpinnings. It's equally important for students to see themselves in that theory so that they're able to figure out why that theory is applicable to their pedagogical decisions, which will in turn drive their practice. I have 3 tenets that I use in that course, as well as what undergirds all of my courses that I teach here at Miami. The first one is that students need to see themselves in the literature and the literacy practices that we utilize in the classroom. And that means, for example, bringing in high quality, award-winning picture books, literature that they're able to see themselves in, and which honors multicultural voices and diverse opinions and experiences. The second tenet is that we need to find a way to bridge the gap between out-of-school literacy practices and within-school literacy practices. This means that students are going home, for example, and they're engaging in all sorts of experiences like video gaming, blogging, vlogging, texting, tweeting, and even creating vines and posting them on YouTube. But when you ask students, they consider those non-literacy practices. And today, literacy is constantly evolving and changing, and it reflects what our society impacts at the time. So I think that with technology, we have to consider how to read text, for example, is not just print, but it's also digital. And reading on a computer screen is much different than reading a book, for example. So we need to have students aware that text is more than just print, and it utilizes what is going on outside of school. And by connecting those, that's very powerful teaching and learning. And the third tenet, and I think the most important, is that all children are brilliant, and that it's the teacher's responsibility and actually moral obligation to allow for that brilliance to shine through. And this includes also finding ways to bring multiple ways of meaning and knowing and understanding into the classroom for that brilliance to come through. I chose to work at Miami for 2 reasons: the students and my colleagues. The students that I have encountered and experienced over the last 6 months are truly impressive. They are deep thinkers, creative souls, reflective, and I could say the same thing about my colleagues. They are amazing scholars who are doing innovative research, experts in their field, and I feel just honored every time that I walk away from a conversation with them. I feel that I've learned and even changed my outlook on life. And I think part of the purpose of living is to outgrow yourself and your belief system. And so hopefully by choosing Miami, you'll be able to outgrow yourself and have a wonderful experience here.